As Charlie said, we're not big on rotational things at Pure, so this is an unusual change for us. I want to talk to you about some of the exciting innovation and such we've been doing. And since the beginning of the company, we've always tended to focus on three different major axes of innovation. And so the first one, which I know all of you are expecting an update on, we're talking about getting rid of disks. We're talking about incredible density and efficiency. And so, last year I showed you a 3D printed model of this because we didn't have one yet. But just, we are continuing down the path. This is a 150 terabyte direct flash module. Okay. You think about how many disks one of these can replace, how much e-waste one of these can replace, how long the lifetime is, the reliability, the performance. These are the things that are going to help us wipe disks off the face of the planet. Now, I also promised you that we were going to continue on that roadmap. So last year, I could only show you a 3D printed model of one of these. Now I've got an actual one. So this is now a 3D printed model of next year's 300 terabyte direct flash module. Every time we take this step, we just get rid of another tranche of disks. And, we're going to wipe them all out fairly soon. So, that's really all I have to say about the density and disk wipeout roadmap that was kind of our major theme last year. This year, you've heard a lot of talk about, simplicity. And we're really making a major leap forward in simplicity. A few years ago, we did a major leap forward in business models, Evergreen One, driving our Evergreen architecture to the next step, making a quantum leap forward. This year, we're making a quantum leap forward in the simplicity of managing the platform. And so I'd like to start by having Matt Bradford come out and join us to take a look at something we're doing around simplicity. Hey, Matt.
Buzz, how are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Good, good. So let's talk about security. So hey, everybody, my name is Matt Bradford, and as a former sysadmin and consultant turned technical evangelist here at Pure Storage, I've seen both sides of the coin of how difficult it can be for customers to implement and maintain a consistent security configuration across their entire storage infrastructure. And so in terms of Pure speak, obviously we're talking things like snapshot safe mode, active cluster, and active DR. And so being able to configure these and maintain that consistent configuration is exactly what the data protection assessment within Pure One is focused on. Now, on the other hand, the security assessment, which we're going to dive into here, really helps customers to understand their operational security and their compliance. So jumping into it, just like with the data protection assessment, we're providing customers with a benchmark of their current security posture. So this way they can compare their current posture with previous results and be able to track their improvements over time. We're also looking at operational security. So things you should probably know about, like if you have any buckets that are open to the public, and compliance. So this is a cornerstone of the security assessment, and we're looking for various compliance items, such as if you're using Active Directory, SAML, LDAP, authentication controls for your storage, and also to show that you have data encrypted at rest for things like compliance audits.
So, that's some really cool stuff to take a look at.
Yeah.
So what about the evolving threat landscape? Can it show me things around some of the anomalies in my environment?
Absolutely, that's a great lead-in. So yeah, of course, the threat landscape is constantly evolving, and the attack patterns are getting crazier. They're getting a lot more complex. And so with the anomaly detection within Pure One, that's really what we're focusing on, is helping customers to understand when things are happening in their environments and also be able to recover much faster. So an example of this, in our data reduction ratios, we're going to show the most recent snapshots for the impacted volumes. We're also looking for things like performance anomalies. So these could, as Prakash said, be indicators of something like a denial of service or maybe even data exfiltration. And we're also showing volume and snapshot count changes too, because these are all things our customers should know about. And being able to piece all of these pieces together, we can really start to paint a good picture of what's happening in our customers' environments.
So it's great that I can look across my entire environment and see these things. Can it show me what I should do about it?
It absolutely can. So, we offer actionable insights across all of our assessments within Pure One. And this could be applied across the entire fleet, or in this case, we can look at an individual array. And for this array, we can see, hey, there's a compliance issue because we're running an out-of-support version of Purity.
So if I have an out-of-support version, can I go do some upgrades?
Yeah, definitely. With Pure One, you can go into the software lifecycle page, and you can perform a self-service upgrade. And now you can do this across an individual array, you can do it across an active cluster, active DR, or even have bulk operations to upgrade multiple arrays. So that way you're always up to date with the latest features and security enhancements. And so, Kaz, that's exactly how we're bringing that pure simplicity to something that's as complex as maintaining consistent security posture across the Pure Storage platform.
That's really great. And I think that'll really help simplify the way everybody looks at their security across their fleet.
Absolutely.
So thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you very much, Kaz.
And now I'd like to ask Yvonne to come out and show us a little bit about the Pure Copilot interface that we mentioned earlier.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you, Kaz, and good to see all of you. My name is Ivan Hibaja. I'm a software engineer, and I'm here to give you a sneak preview of Pure's AI Copilot. From day one, we have invested heavily in our phone home infrastructure. It was deeply embedded into Purity's operating system, which, as you know, is available in all of our products across our platform. For the last 12 months alone, we have over 25 petabytes of data that we use to continuously drive improvements for our products, as well as to provide you with the best customer experience that you should be familiar with. We're now taking that data and putting it in your fingertips by putting a natural language interface to help you manage and secure your fleet at scale. So let's get into it and see how it can help us do just that. Let's start with an example, asking it to perform a security analysis of your organization. What the AI is doing is taking all of the security features that are available in Purity across all of our products, and it's applying a security model to tell you how your security strategy stands against your peers. Whether that is over 12,000 organizations that choose to phone home their data to us, or against those in your vertical.
So how's it coming up with that ranking?
That is a great question. So why don't we ask it to tell us how it's doing just that. The AI is going to describe a security model and how it's breaking it down into 4 different areas: data protection, administrative security, environmental security, and protocol security. From here on, you can ask it to focus on any one of these to provide you with potential ways to improve that area of security. In this example, let's take a look at environmental security. The AI is giving us all of the features that map to environmental security. It is also giving us the percentage of how many bytes across all of your fleets of arrays that are protected by the best security practice in each of these features, as well as giving you a what-if analysis of how your ranking would improve if you were to adopt the best practices for this feature. Now, with this information, you can pick whichever one of these features you want to improve and ask it to provide you with an adoption plan. So let's take a look at just that. Let's ask it for creating an adoption plan to improve directory services channel security. Okay. What we see right now is the first thing that it's giving us is the best practice for this feature, which is to utilize LDAP over TLS and pinned roots of trust. It is then giving you a list of all of your arrays that do not have this security practice applied to it already, and is sorting them by the ones with the greatest volume of data, so you know where to start first. From here on, you can now ask it to give you specific steps on how to enable these best security practices, whether it's through the GUI or through a CLI, so you don't even have to go look at a support manual.
So, I already know how to do that kind of change to the array. So what else can it do for me?
Well, let me give you a little bit of background about myself. As you know, for many years, I was the lead of the forensics team at Pure Storage. What that meant is that I was the person on the other side of the phone if there were any issues with our arrays in the field. My job was to take symptoms that were present in an array, and in as short of a time as possible, and with all eyes on me, which is kind of like right now, try to take all that information and narrow down the issue into as small of an area as possible, so that then I could find an expert to help us root cause and remediate this issue. I wish I had a helper to help me with that task. So let's take a look and see how AI can help us diagnose some of these issues. And in particular, performance diagnosis was one of the hardest issues to deal with because there's no simple thread to pull from. It's just general system behavior. So let's look at an example of just that. Let's imagine you know of an application that is experiencing slowness, and all you know is a host name. So let's ask it to help us narrow down this issue and see what it can do for us. The first thing that it's doing is mapping that host name to the flash array that it's connected to. It is then performing a variety of analysis and telling you that it's experiencing high latency due to high busyness. From there, it's showing you the most active volumes. With that information, now it's presenting you some potential ways to mitigate this high busyness scenario. The most interesting one here is the one suggesting you to migrate workloads. Because it has visibility of all of your fleet of arrays, it understands what other arrays are available in the same availability zone and have the existing bandwidth in order to be able to take some of this workload off of this one.
That's really great for when you know where to start. But a lot of times, there's just some slowness in the environment. People are blaming the storage. Can this help diagnose things like that?
For sure. In my job, I've seen everybody loves to blame storage. It's one of the first things that everybody does. So let's see an example. You can just give it a time window and say, hey, help me narrow down an issue. Is there even an issue? What the AI is showing you this example is that it's looking at all of your arrays across your fleet, and it is highlighting the ones that you should evaluate. In this example, you're seeing that it's giving us back two arrays, one which we saw from the previous example with high busyness, and another one with high space utilization. From here on, you can now make a determination whether there's even an issue at all.
So this is great if you don't know where to start, but what if I'm just looking to make improvements in my organization? Let's say I want to prioritize some security improvements. What would I do?
Well, that is the beauty of this platform. This natural language interface that we put in front of all of this data that we have available allows you to choose your own adventure about how you want to interact with this data in order to manage and secure your fleet at scale. So let's walk you through an example about how if I had a company, would go about security and prioritizing my security improvements. Okay. I would first start by asking it, how much data did I write in the last day, to see what is my most important data on a daily basis. In this example, it is showing me that I've written almost 272 terabytes in the last 24 hours. Now, I obviously want to know where is this data coming from. So I'd ask it to show me the top contributors to where this data is coming from. Now I'm seeing that it's giving me a table with 5 volumes with the highest level of data in the last day. And the first thing that catches my eyes is that the first one has the name Scratch in it. Obviously, that's not that important. So let's ask it to remove all arrays and all volumes that have the words test or temp or scratch, so we can narrow down into some of the important areas of data. Now we're bringing it down to 133 terabytes of data and a different set of 5 volumes. From this table, we can see that the top 3 volumes are the biggest contributors. So let's focus on those, and now let's ask for very specific security and data protection recommendations for those particular 3 volumes. The AI is now going to take all of the features and the best security practices, apply the weights of the original security model that we showed you at first, and he's showing you very customized data protection as well as security recommendations for each one of these volumes and each one of these arrays. And from here on out, you can now take a look and make a decision about where do you want to start in the security.
So with all the data that you have on how we're using each and every array, can the AI help me predict what I'm going to need in the future?
It's almost like you can see the future yourself. So let's take a look at the next example, which is you can give it a time window of your usage and ask it to predict how that usage maps to the future. So let's see if we need to take any action for the next 12 months based on my usage over the last 3 months. The AI is breaking this problem down into 2 areas, capacity and performance. It's giving you the exact growth rate over the last 3 months, as well as the specific time window by which you need to take action. It is then providing you some recommendations, in the case of performance, for both median as well as peak performance. So, as an expert in both diagnosing issues and our products, managing infrastructure is hard. And it is even harder to do it at scale across a fleet of arrays. Pure AI Copilot is going to make you an instant expert to manage and secure your fleet of storage at scale.
Okay. So thanks, Ivan. Just want to let everybody know that this is going to be available as a tech preview this summer. And so if you're interested, please reach out to your Pure account executive, and we'd love to have you using it. So now, we've seen how the AI can help us manage the fleet better, can help us gain insights into what we're going to need in the future. So I'd like to have Lana come out and give us a sneak peek at Pure Estimate.
Hello. Hi, Cos. Hi,
Hi, Lana.
Good.
Good to
How
see
are
you. I'm doing good. How about you?
It's so great to be here.
So this is a Pure Estimate that you're going to show us. What can it do?
Well, my name is Lana Gletsky. I'm a UX designer at Pure Storage. And Cos, when I tell people what I do, UX design, I get an interesting reaction. It's a moment of silence and a puzzled look. So I ask, do you know what architects do? And people say, yes, yes. Architects design physical spaces with careful consideration how people navigate, use, and overall experience them. As a UX designer, I design digital spaces, solving specific problems, making sure that everything is easy to use and enjoyable. So at Pure Storage, we listen to our customers, and we know that one of the major problems they typically face is planning their storage upgrades. They may spend countless hours trying to predict future capacity, performance, functionality needs. It's a challenging task, right? Questions like, how much storage will we need? How much will it cost? Are there any hidden fees? How can we maximize our initial investment? So our product design team thought about this problem, and we wanted to transform this tedious process and make it as simple as shopping online. So today at Accelerate, I'm really excited to introduce Pure Estimate, designed to streamline your storage purchasing journey.
So that's really neat. So, Yvonne was just showing us how I'm going to need to buy more storage soon because I'm growing the usage on my arrays. So, when I see a button there for expand, can that tell me how to grow my arrays?
Absolutely. Let's dive in and see how it works. Our lab requires more storage. So my goal today is to expand. Let's select that. And Pure Estimate integrates AI-driven Pure One recommendations that are based on our current usage. So let's see what recommendations we have. We can browse recommendations by what's important to us. And we can select a specific appliance and see what we have there. So here we have 2 recommendations to expand this appliance to 240 terabytes or upgrade to a new controller for better capacity consolidation. We can also drill down and see additional details, so we understand why this recommendation is made to us, and to see projected capacity growth.
So you're actually showing me, based on the past and everything we have in the phone home, what my future needs are going to look like on that array.
Yes. So let's go ahead and add this recommendation to our shopping cart. And from here, we can review the estimate and create a quote, or keep adding more items.
So can this show me how to do things like modernize my fleet?
Absolutely. A project like consolidating or modernizing your fleet requires thorough planning, and it may take several weeks or sometimes more, as you guys know. So with Pure Estimate, we hope to reduce it to a few clicks and be done in under 5 minutes. So let's select Modernize and then Optimize my assets. And here we can see all data centers on our map. So let's select Florenceport, Texas, as the data center we want to optimize. And in the recommendations panel, we can see Consolidate Assets recommendation. So let's take a look. So in this data center, we have 6 X20 arrays. We can select some of them or all and consolidate to a single X50, just like
So this is actually telling me how I can take 6 arrays that I currently have installed and consolidate them into one slightly larger array.
Exactly. And you can also increase capacity while reducing your total cost of operations and using less energy. Yes?
Right.
But what we also can do, we can take these arrays and apply their trade-in value towards Evergreen//One subscription. So let's estimate that and add it to our shopping cart. And just like that, with almost no effort, we have a plan to take 6 CAPEX arrays, move them to Evergreen//One, and see an estimated cost and savings that we get. So let's add it to our shopping cart, and now we can review the estimate. And here's the best part that I hope all of you will love. Pure Storage understands the importance of your existing storage investment. So we offer a unique trade-in program, similar to trading a car. Trading in a car. So your initial investment will keep working for you because there is equity there, and Pure Storage is willing to pay for it, right? And here it is. Here's a sneak preview. With Pure Estimate, you can scale seamlessly, non-disruptively, and reduce the time that you may typically spend for planning and budgeting your storage needs.
That's really neat. And, I think it makes buying and upgrading my fleet as easy as buying a book online.
That's the idea.
Great. So thanks a lot, Lana, for that peek. So, and I hope, through these demos, you've gotten a glimpse of how, the future of storage, is so much simpler to operate. And it's really a quantum leap forward. The insights you can get into your fleet, your ability to manage 10, 20, 50, 100, arrays as easily as you could do one, maybe even easier, and to do it better. And by the way, the danger of letting, say, your executives use that chat interface and then go and, hey, make that change for me. But the future of storage is kind of exciting in terms of how good you're going to be able to run things. So now I have the honor of announcing our North America GOAT Breakthrough winner. a longtime customer and partner, NTT Data.
NTT Data connects people, data, and things to improve the lives of billions and the businesses they rely on each day. Since 2014, NTT Data has been leveraging the Pure Storage platform, which now powers its massive data lake, handling 400 terabytes of data and 3 billion records each day, easily with zero downtime, while shrinking its data center footprint and cutting its energy costs in half to foster a more sustainable future. We tip our hats to NTT Data, winner of this year's Pure Storage Greatest of All Time Breakthrough Award.